Uncertainty, I think, is the only thing certain when it comes to fuel availability, especially in countries like India. So when we have such situations, it is very important that we look at technologies which are flexible in taking these fuels, any fuels which you want to use, and then make any product which is required. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vijayalakshmi Shah. I have the honor of representing GE here for the gasification technology, which is being the main, one of our main supply in many countries such as China and US. What I will touch upon is only the technical aspect of it, and my colleague Bobby will share more details on commercial, and also we have our commercial leader Prashant here. If you have any questions, you can ask him too. First thing, I think what I just touched upon is the feedstock flexibility. One thing we want to stress upon is this. Our gasification technology has the flexibility of accepting many feedstocks. Coal. Coal is something which is very important to India. We heard in the last 2 days many discussions on how important is coal to energy production. But I think we are a long way to see how we can use coal to produce chemicals. So what I'm going to share is some of the advancements we have done in different countries where the coal is used as feedstock. If you look at this graph, the x-axis is something like increasing ash, and the y is about increasing moisture. And to your left, the lowermost quadrant is where we have what we call good quality, high calorific value coal, which is low ash and low moisture. So this coal is typical of, available in US or to a certain extent in China. That's where most of the gasification technologies work. We can use any types of gasification technology and then produce syngas, which syngas is further used into many other products. And if you look at, if you are right, the top one, where the low ash and high moisture, which is something you may not have heard much in India, but I think it's a very important aspect for us because country like Indonesia, it has high moisture coal, which you need to treat it in a certain way to gasify it. So we do have solutions for that. We have done technology development to pre-treat the coal to use it in these technologies. And then to the right, lowermost, I think this is where we are all interested, which is high ash. This high ash puzzle has been there for a long time. Anytime people talk about gasification, they will say, is it suitable for high ash? That's the only question which is asked. What is your technology? Can we just put high ash coal and then gasify it? But then a very simple thing is what they miss out is, let us take whatever the technology plants we have supplied till now in China, the lowest capacity, the lowest I'm talking about, the lowest capacity of gasification takes about 2,000 to 3,000 tons per day of coal, lowest capacity. And you add 50% ash to it, you're going to process 4,000, minimum 4,000 tons per day of coal. So you're not just increasing the capacity by double, you have the other problems such as low efficiency, because you tend to generate more CO2 because of high ash. So in our opinion, we did an analysis and we found out it is really not economical to put directly the coal ash in a gasification plant and then you take any profit because your plant capacity almost will double or triple. So this is why we think, in our opinion, any coal, you don't change the gasification technology itself, but you change the pre-treatment. So you pre-treat it in such a way that it suits your technology. So that's what we tried to do. About 2 or 3 years back, we started looking at Indian coal, see whether we can use it in our gasification. I don't know, maybe I should give a little bit background. Our gasification is what you call the entrained flow gasification, where you use oxygen to actually melt down the ash and then gasify coal. So the oxygen consumption would be tremendous if you're going to put directly ash. So what we realized is that pre-treatment is one thing. Then we went around looking for technology. We talked to many Indian experts and institutes to see whether we can work out something to get a technology which is suitable, which will give an ash percentage of less than 20%. Unfortunately, we had some inputs, but then we did not see one solution which is directly given to us, or they say, okay, this is what we will do it for you. Then we realized that we should do something on our own, and we looked at a technology which is already available, and then we worked with the local institute and developed a technology. It is not just a feed, means the coal comes and it is treated and sent to the gasification. We integrated it within our plant, so that it's not that you don't have to worry about reducing the ash, but it gets done within the plant. So that is a process which we are taking forward, and hopefully within a year or two we should be able to commercialize this, but we need help from the industry and from the government to take this forward. I think we are getting some leeway in that. And the last is, of course, high ash and high moisture. Some countries are even worse than our coal. They not only have high ash, they have high moisture too. So maybe combination of these technologies might work there. This is petro coal. This is what we are talking about. Both petroleum feedstock and the coal feedstock. Can we use both in one technology? I think yes. In our technology, you can not just use coal. You can use any liquid fuel from refinery. It can be refinery bottoms, or it can be a residue, or it can be pet coke, which can be converted to useful products, such as hydrogen, or some part of it can be converted to power. So it all depends on the economics of what is available and what the customer wants. So this is a very interesting aspect, especially in Indian conditions. We have had many talks with many of the refineries in India where they would like to gasify pet coke. That is, wherever they have a delayed coker, convert the pet coke to the hydrogen or power. So pet coke is very special to us because this is some technology I think we have worked for a long time. Worldwide, there are about 7 plants available, and this is not easy, though pet coke is carbon. It is not as easy as coal to gasify. It has special techniques, and I think we have this technology to convert the pet coke. So what we have seen now, as of now, you can use coal, you can use pet coke, or you can use any liquid fuel like naphtha to residue to coke in the same technology. All it needs is a little bit of modification within the equipments to get what you want. So this is just a list of some projects which is already, just to give you a glimpse of what all it is done already. It is not a new technology which is already available for a long time. So what I would like to see is in terms of feedstock, uncertainty in feedstock is going to be there. I mean, we have no way we can do anything about it. But I think we need to go select technologies to suit this. And then complete range of feedstocks we should be able to handle. And not only that, the technology, what you select, today there is one fuel is there and tomorrow there is another fuel. With the minimum change, you should be able to switch over. So I think these are the main aspects in selecting any technology. But what I would like to share is, if you look at coal to chemicals, in India we don't have too many plants, maybe 1 or 2 old plants we are trying to revive. We don't have many plants which make syngas and to either fertilizer or methanol. But then we have supplied over 100 licenses in China. So over that, we have learned many lessons. I think in India, when you need to adopt, we should adopt these along with these advances. So I'll touch upon 3 aspects. And one is heat recovery and efficiency. Morning somebody was talking about that how efficiency is the first thing we need to look at, and China is looking at it in a very big way, and that's where we got this heat recovery. If you see the gasification itself, it has a tremendous amount of heat value, the gas which comes out. So you can do in both the ways. Either what you can do is, you can quench it, you just quench it with water, and you just cool it, or you use equipment, special heat exchangers, which we call radiants and gas coolers, to recover heat. And then this increases the efficiency of the plant. So we have both the options. And if you see in China government is very keen to increase the efficiency in the plant. If I talk about only coal to olefins, olefins, as you know, is the building block for all the plastics and other materials which is downstream. They do need a minimum efficiency in either it is a basic and advanced technology. And I think that is where, when you look at, if you want to improve the efficiency, you have to recover heat. So that is when we have come across this option of recovering heat. So one of the definite thing is to increase the heat recovery and then increase the plant efficiency. As of now, the plants are slightly, really 3 to 4% lower than this in terms of, if you look at the total plant. But this is the efficiency they're looking at. And not only that, if you see the last one, is the fresh water. What is the water consumption? So China is very keen to reduce all the water consumption, whatever the consumption possible, and there is a limit on what you can consume in a product. So what I would like to give you some entrance on the water system, what we are trying to do with that. I don't know whether I can tell you there is a lot of water involved in gasifying coal. There is a water circulation throughout the plant, either one form or other. It can be fresh water, DM water, or any other things. So when we have been having this technology for many decades, but we have been using the same kind of water system. And that's when we realized, once we got this, as an organization, we do have a water team also. So we thought we should work with them and give a better solution to the customers. So this is another new technology which we are developing, where we are integrating the evaporator, GE evaporator system, where it can reduce the water consumption by more than 60%. This is part of the whole gasification system. This is not some wastewater treatment or outside the scope. So this is another technology which I think we should adopt it. And then high pressure. Any chemical, if you want to produce, you know very well that once the syngas is produced, you need, especially for ammonia plants, there is a very high pressure at the downstream is required. So you need huge compression costs are involved. So can we go for high pressures in the gasification itself to reduce this compression cost? So in our analysis, in China, we do supply this 87 bar gasification plants. And using some technologies for methanol, they don't need even compressor to compress it. So there is a huge reduction, nearly 30% decrease for methanol and 15% decrease in ammonia plant, just for a standard plant capacity in the compression costs. So if I can summarize, fuel flex, that is, whatever fuel available, we should be able to make it into useful product. So fuel flex is very important, whether it is solid, liquid, or gas. And I think when you select a technology, I think that's a major factor to be considered. And efficiency, again, to make it sure that plant is running efficiently, there is no CO2 production. Major CO2 is not increased, so efficiency is one part of it. And then water. Water is very important. We need to make sure that water's consumption is reduced, and then go up to higher pressures so that we can reduce the operating costs of the plants. So this is some part of what we are working on in many areas, some major key point takeaways from what we are doing in plants across the world. And I think when we adopt technologies from outside, we need to question and then take things which is relevant to ours, not for some other country and the conditions. And we think that these are key things which is required for India. And with this, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much.